So, in this episode, I want to share with y'all how journaling can bring you freedom. And when I say freedom, a lot of that for me has been freedom from the ruminating thoughts that get caught in a feedback loop in my mind that do not serve me, are not productive, and perpetuate a negative cycle that confines me and consumes me. So when I say that journaling has brought freedom into my life, I mean, it has freed me from so much of that and has given me back the self-determination to create my own life the way that I have the power to. That freedom often comes in the form of expression. So releasing whatever it is that is inside of your internal environment, psychologically or emotionally, that you think could use a bit of air to get it out of you, out of this vessel, whether that means so that you can see it before you and process it better once it's become a physical entity on the page, or maybe you just literally need to release it from your body. And at the very least, it frees up space inside of you where new thoughts and emotions and considerations can make their way in. So I want to share with y'all a few of the ways that I access this freedom through journaling. And hopefully you can take it on and create your own ways of finding freedom through journaling. Something to keep in mind is that journaling can be whatever you want it to be, and it can look however you want it to. There are no rules or guidelines that you are bound to follow. One of the ways that I find that freedom is, and this is a really good tool to use if you are sitting and staring at the blank page and it's intimidating you and you're frozen. So it's just a brain dump. You just allow whatever ideas or images or feelings that are floating around inside of you to flood their way out. You just spit it out. So here I'm spitting permanence, arose, fleeting glimpse, righted wrong, full bloom, further known, circumstance, coveted, glance, warmth of grace, seated place, a loving scorn, a shot of praise, picked over, jar of pennies, inked, wreckage, a room, a wall. And then something comes from these words, and I say, she came undone in a room at the end of the hall. All she had endured would remain behind the wall. And it doesn't matter what it means or if it means anything. You're just getting this shit out of you. And then what I like to do is I look back and just see if anything stands out to me. And then I might mark them so I can either create something else from them or expand upon that idea or image. It doesn't really matter. One of the things I really want to drive home for you is that I want you to feel empowered to make this whatever it is that you want and need. So if you're doing something that I say I've done and something else instinctively feels better or to do instead or to add or take out, do it. It's for you. You can create your own language, your own shorthand when you journal, and it can bring forth so much insight into your internal world. All of this new information can reveal itself to you through all these different ways I'm going to share. So that's one, the brain dump. Another, maybe, again, like it might not come out in words. So don't confine yourself. Don't limit yourself and constrict yourself. Speaking of constrictive boundaries that can get in the way of you releasing, lines. I only have this journal with lines in it because one of my dear friends gave it to me and I wanted to use it. But I never buy journals with lines because it does feel too constrictive to me. And again, sometimes these restraints or guidelines or frameworks can cut down on the amount of choices you have to make in this process, so it can actually bring people freedom. So don't discount it, try it for yourself and see. This is funny, I'm actually speaking about freedom here. She enjoys so much, she will be whatever her freedom opens up for her and she sees and says yes to. That is how we shall live and how we wish to move through this world. Yes, to say yes. And when we say yes, to live that choice fully and without question or doubt, or the allowance for the other hypothetical choices to plague the present choice made. This was me expressing, I had just met my new partner. This was in 2017. And this was me expressing how I'm constantly getting tangled in these webs of thought and language and how he can go from there to there, straight shot in an instant, and how that was shifting my perspective. So anyway, these are some of the ways that you can exercise your own freedom to do whatever you want on the page. So brain dumping, drawing, just whatever it is that comes out, that can reflect back to you what you're thinking or feeling too. You don't need it to come out in language. We're too dependent on language to express our inner worlds. This is your friend. This is your friend. There is a calm. There is a return to a wholeness, or at least the familiarity or home of what it is to hold a space as a whole woman. Her center grounded, solid, strong, assured, yet attuned to and open to the space, the shared space. The fortress very aware of the separation. The skin she wears dividing her from the energetic field she moves through. Open, yes, but mostly not beckoning for any exchange with her external environment, yet still relaxed enough to enjoy and that's just again like a little energetic field of people and places and things. There is a grace within the solitude. She is one. At the restaurant, she is just one. In her body, she is whole, a whole one. So I think that's all for now. I hope you can use something from that to start you on your journey of finding your own way, finding your own freedom through journaling. For now, here's to all that we can discover about this world and ourselves in this simple act of expressing our internal world and laying it all out before us. Once we part and our lives become separate and we have amputated ourselves from the singularity of the world that was just ours and no one else's, we will. And maybe one day we will.